One of the common requests or challenges that I see with founders, especially during office hours and working with founder groups, is the challenge of looking for a co-founder. So this video is an idea that I have that I think might work for a lot of you out there who are looking for that almighty co-founder. And let me set this up, because a lot of times founders don't really think through the implications of what having a co-founder really means. And we're talking about a co-founder that's going to come in and want a big chunk of equity, be an equal partner, that you're looking for someone to partner with you and help get your startup to where it is. And I get it. Doing startup is incredibly lonely. It's one of the reasons so many people come to founders groups, and it's hard work. And so having a partner to just get that moral, emotional support, as well as having co-founder that complements what you do and your skills without having too much of an overlap, because I never recommend having a co-founder that has the same skills as you. What's the point of that? But say, for example, you are the person who is out there and you're the non-technical co-founder, and you can find a technical co-founder. It's a very common issue that solo founders are looking for. They're looking for that technical co-founder, and then they believe that they must give them equity in the company. And we can get into all sorts of different ways that you can attract a technical co-founder or get them to come on board. And should you give them equity, vesting schedules, cliffs, all that good stuff. But I'm going to bypass that and try a different type of idea. I've been mulling this over for a little bit now, and I thought, hey, how about I float this and see if maybe this is going to solve the issue. So let's look at co-founders, and I'm going to talk about what co-founders can actually do for you, and without the getting into the equity component, but what are some of the reasons that you might look for a co-founder? And that's just, as far as I'm concerned, execution. So execution is one main thing. But then what happens is you can get support. So that's emotional, moral support. And then insights. So having just someone around to bounce ideas off of and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and all that good stuff. And then as far as support and insights, those kind of all wrap into motivation, which is really great. And co-founders can keep each other motivated, especially when things start to get really tough. Well, if you really look at this list here, let's just really analyze this. Execution, this right here, I believe, can be outsourced pretty easily. So let's outsource this. And a lot of founders come in and they say, I need a co-founder, like a technical co-founder, but really you're saying, I need someone to outsource to. I need a solution for someone to build things or do things that I'm not necessarily good at. For example, marketing or sales or, search engine optimization or UX design, what have you. You want to outsource that. Now, in terms of support, I definitely agree. Co-founders can provide support, insights, and motivation that are unique to you and customized. Right? And this is important. It's not easy just to go talk to a stranger. Someone needs to understand what your business is all about, what you're trying to build, and have an intimate knowledge, an intimate enough knowledge to be able to speak directly to you and empathize in a way that they say, I totally get it. I'm sitting on the same side of the table as you, which you don't necessarily get from, let's say, an advisor or somebody who is sort of, paid to coach you. They're not going to sit on your side of the table, so you may not feel that real connection. So let's think about this for a second. So I'm going to say that there are 700. I'm just using some round numbers. So there are 700 co-founders on co-founders in founder groups. All right. 700 of you out there. Now, let's just say 50% of you are solo. And you may think, well, that's a really high number. Actually, I don't think so. I guess I could go find the actual numbers, but a lot of times people come to founder groups because they are solo, they want help, and they can't relate to other people. They might have people on their team, but they're the only ones with equity in the company, et cetera, because if they already had a co-founder, then maybe they're not interested in finding other people, other founders to connect with. So let's say 50% are solo, which equals 350 founders. All right. So this is sort of misleading. It's not 700 co-founders, 700 founders. Some of them are co-founders with other people. And there's not a lot of crossover. Sometimes we have all the co-founders as members, but typically a startup will just send one representative to be a member here. And so we're looking at 350 founders. Now, what if, throwing out there that those co-founders could become virtual, or those founders could become virtual founders, or, okay, co-founders. Okay, that's just that name's probably not going to stick, but co-founders as in virtual co-founders with you. Now, here's what I'm thinking. This is how you would do it. So first step, what I would do is I would go and network. And so meet people. And so like we have speed networking in terms of networking, or this is the speed dating phase. So meet as many people as possible. And so network, so connect. So find other people who you really jive with that are going to be in the same stage. This is going to be important because you're not really going to really gel. Let's say you are in pre-launch and you're building your MVP and you're trying to get to a seed fund or a pre-seed stage of funding, and you connect with someone who's already, let's say, on the B round and getting prepared to exit or go public. Well, you're not really going to relate, and probably you're going to spend a lot of time taking from that other more experienced founder, and it's not going to be an equal reciprocal relationship. So having a same stage connection in the network is going to be important. This is what I do. And then I'd have a conversation and start getting a little more serious. All right. So let's call this the courtship. I know I'm using these relationship terms like we're building romantic relationships. We are not a matchmaking service for romantic relationships between founders, just letting you know. We are trying to actually connect people to professionally work together. But this courtship where you're kind of going on multiple dates and you're saying, hey, let's continue to get to know each other and let's build this relationship. And the question is, are you giving equity or anything like that? No, you're not. Okay. There's no equity, right? So this is platonic. If you will, you're not going to exchange equity or do anything like that. You're not going to pay each other. And you really want to just be there because there's a reciprocal mutual value. And then 3, do projects together. And what I mean by projects together, this is how I would do it. I would have a twice a week meeting. So what I would do is I'd go Monday, I would meet and I would create the plans or the intentions. So Monday plans, here's what we're going to do for this week. And then Friday, I'd get together and go through KPIs. Or this is where the quote accountability portion comes in. Okay, I'm just telling you exactly how I would do it if I was looking for that virtual co-founder. Now, let me give you a pro tip here. What I would do is I would make sure that I am in a group of three. What's the reason for that? Well, one person can not make it and you can still get stuff done. And it kind of changes some strange power dynamics that could potentially happen when it's just one-on-one. All right, just three. It's kind of like a stool with three legs. Going four, maybe, but that kind of gets a little laborious or a little heavy. And I would just go three and I'd have these meetings. And these are the meetings that you have. And each meeting, I would get through it 60 minutes tops. Then what happens in those meetings, you can give each other the support, insights, and motivation as you go through week to week. So it's super quick. And the best part is you can share resources. So the three of you can say, hey, we all need this, or who do you use for your bookkeeping, or who do you use for your WordPress maintenance? Who's your webmaster? And you can start to share the network and encourage each other and go along. Now, what's going to happen if one of you makes your seed round and gets funded and the other ones aren't? Well, then now you have a choice. You need to be able to give that person the ability to move on and then find other configurations. So this is the reason it's very loose. So you're not really getting married. You are just getting together and you're saying, if you're getting married, you're exchanging equity and all that good stuff. What you're doing is you're saying, hey, let's just get through this stage together and do this project together, which is the stage. And so then it doesn't get weird. And you can just support each other and go through them. So maybe you're practicing your pitch decks with each other and what have you. Now, what are the other things that I would recommend that you do? So these are the bonus activities that you can do is, well, take advantage of all the resources. So your founder group advisors, and, do your office hours and take advantage of all the resources. And then share resources as well, like I already said, and do it together. So this is the best part, is you can go take office hours. Say you sit down with Ed, and Ed, your advisor or the person in your office hours, says some advice to you and you're not sure if it really fits. You can go back to your group and say, oh, I had office hours with Ed and he said I should be doing this and that. And everyone goes, nah, Ed doesn't really know your business and maybe you better, try this, but we like the principles that Ed was talking about. And maybe you should look into that or what have you. And then you can also do your office hours together and maybe do like these little quick workshops together and what have you. And we're all totally open for that. In fact, if you booked office hours and you said all three of us are going to get together and we're just going to not only do our own office hours, but sit in on the other office hours of our other virtual co-founders to help each other out, that's absolutely fantastic. And there you have the ability to get those three things done. As far as altogether, you're going to get the support and insight, and you're going to motivate each other. All right, so that's how you do it together. Then you outsource the rest. So for example, if you need technical help, we'll talk about, let's go get a dev shop. Which dev shop can I go to? Or how about we hire a freelancer? Can you help me find a freelancer and all that good stuff? So this is what I'm talking about in self-organizing and setting up those relationships with those other co-founders or potential virtual co-founders, the other founders in the founder group network, there's some really great people, and they are more than happy to connect and be vulnerable and share and provide that space to collaborate together and be in a partnership in the sense of virtual co-founder together to provide those three things and then help you outsource the rest. You don't have to give them equity. You don't have to pay. It's reciprocal. Everybody feels great. And they can swap in and out because you have 350 of them that you can connect with, and you're not stuck, which is another really great thing. If you moved on, or let's say the relationship isn't what you think, then no harm, no foul. Just reconfigure the group. And it might take a few different tries and configurations to see if that's really going to get you where it is, where you want to go. That is. So that's my suggestion if you're looking for a co-founder and how to take advantage of our founder group network. Give it a shot, and then let me know if you're interested in doing that, and I can walk you through it and see. And we can also actually help you recommend and say, hey, we think this person would be a great fit and what have you, and then facilitate and even set up the first meetings and all that stuff. I'm willing to try it if you're willing to try it, and let's see if we work together to find you some great virtual co-founders.